Okay, looks like we live and late. I said it'd be 6 o'clock, and it's late. So it may be a little shorter tonight than expected. Usually run them about an hour. I think I set this one at 45 minutes. Um, and we probably won't get that long because I have to go to work tomorrow. So anyway, we're here. Uh, let's see if anyone jumps in here, and we'll start talking, checking things out. Got tied up. I had to do some stuff for my wife and granddaughter, uh, doing some 4-H projects, and they needed Pawpaw's drilling ability or ability to use a power drill. So, and I was setting up a loopy deck, LOUPEDECK, loopy deck, which is a device. No, it is this device here, and I use it when I'm editing videos to kind of automatically. I just hit a button and text that I use all the time is popped in there. And in that particular case, right there, it will activate that profile anytime that DaVinci Resolve is loaded. And at that point, I can hit those buttons and it will automatically paste that text. Or you can set it up to do anything. I mean, you can set it up to start a program. You can set it, you can hear it popping in and out because it's not, for some reason, it's not connecting good. Anyway, um, and you can pretty much set it up to do whatever you want, uh, however you want to do it. But the main thing behind it is to automate processes to make it much simpler, easier, and quicker to take care of. Um, and that's basically the bottom line. Start programs. You can set up macros to where one button starts a program, opens a blank document, and types something in it and gets it ready. And then all you do is type what you want, so to speak. And so it's just a automation tool. Let's just make that stop making noise. It's just an automation tool, which is pretty cool. So let's go over a couple of things I got yesterday. Um, and I kind of started a video but didn't go into a bunch of details. This is a bunch of blades that came, and I think these are basically all the same kind of setup. They're razor blades. They're supposed to work, and I think they will, with the Ozark razor knife. And so these are a bunch of options to put into it. I went to one sale and I bought several knives from this one guy, and these this was, I think he said 50 cents. Uh, and so I think in the store you buy this little kit. It's not 50 cents. It's definitely more than that at Walmart. And so that's one of the things that we got. And then this is another one. There'll be a quick little review on this. It is a Gruber. Um, it is also a razor knife, and this was the most expensive knife I bought from him. He wanted $2, and I was happy to pay it. This one is kind of cool. You've got two little buttons on it. One of them is a thumb to open and close it, and this is a blade release. And you basically just pull it up and off, and it's just like a scalpel style blade. Nothing, nothing out of the ordinary. And it's got a regular lock to open and close it. Now that I didn't. It's got a midpoint stop, just like a regular slip joint. That's pretty cool. Another one, which this one, bird and trout outdoor life since 1898. And so this right here, kind of clean the blade off a little bit. It's basically that. No big deal. I thought it was kind of cool. I've been wanting to make one of these kind of like this right here. Nothing special, just something. Get some of that JB weld off my finger. I was doing some stuff on the truck, cracked a fitting under there that goes directly into the intake on the turbo, and I'm not replacing that entire thing. And so I JB welded it. Anyway, so I'll probably show that in the video when I'm installing the valve covers on it. So this is a pretty neat little knife right here. Make a great skinning knife, make a great letter opener, make a great pretty much anything. But it's a neat little blade, and so I was very happy to pay 50 cents for this thing. I thought it was pretty cool. So that's another one I got. And then let's see. Okay, I didn't buy this from him, but it's just a little multi-tool. I forget where I got this. You got and if y'all want to see a review on it, we'll do a review. But you got several spots here for matching up to nuts. Flathead screwdriver, small Phillips can opener, large or small flathead, large flathead, a saw, and a blade, as well as a fingernail cleaner and um, a file. So that's a simple little tool. It's basically a little multi-tool, kind of styled after the Leatherman style deals. But this right here is a Coast micro tool. So it's a pretty neat little deal. I kind of keep it on the bench here, and I'm gonna start using it. I keep the Gubadime up there, and I've used it pretty good bit on different projects, and when I need to do something on something or get into something. Now this is another one. This is the Husky, and I think that's also a Walmart brand. And this is kind of along the lines of the Gerber dime. Oh, it's very stiff. I'm going to have to work on it. It's got cutters. It's got pliers. It's got basically everything. You've got scissors. Well, let's see if we can get this open. Very strange tool, but that is a screwdriver, scissors, and a can opener / screwdriver. So that's pretty much in everything. Then you got a blade, a saw blade, a couple other screwdrivers. Let's see. A very small owl looking thing. That's not really good enough for cleaning fingers, but it is. I don't really know what the purpose would be other than maybe a / pry tool or a owl / file. Kind of weird, but that is another one we got here on the bench. Now this one I think is pretty much the neatest one. This is a Leatherman Micra. Now they don't call it a Leatherman Micro. It's called a Leatherman Micra. And I bought one of these, and I think I lost it at a VA, and someone picked it up and didn't offer to let me know they found it. But so here's another one, 50 cents. And what you got here, it is a spring-loaded scissor once you open it, which is kind of different for these tools, but that's what the Leatherman Micro comes with, spring-loaded scissors. And then you've got a fold-out tweezer. It's built in. Screwdriver / nope, / nothing. This says for Phillips, but I think it'll still work for a screwdriver. And then you've got, which is kind of indicative to the other ones that I looked at, can opener / small screwdriver. So you got a little bit of options there. Now this is what's kind of disheartening. on this particular one. Let's see if I can prise this out because I don't have fingernails to catch it. So you've got the fingernail tool, which you normally have on these things, and a fingernail style file, but it's not really a file. It's mainly for fingernails. Large screwdriver / pry bar, and then the blade. The blades broke off. So I'll probably turn that into another pry bar or something of that nature. But still, 50 cents for a Gerber Micra is a tremendous deal. And it'll stay on the bench to play with. Then we've got this, which it's a Chinese knife. It says stainless steel 440. It's just a slip joint, and it's got the dreaded serrated edge, very unsharp. Not really much I can do about that, but it was just kind of cool. It was laying there. You wanted 50 cents for it. I bought it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Civivi Wyvern slash what was that? The Fossil. Kind of a combination of those knives. The way that blade kind of looks like the head of a pterodactyl or some type of prehistoric animal, and it's a slip joint. Well, no, it's not a slip joint. It's a back lock. So right there, cool little fingernail cleaner pocket, just a pocket companion. A lot of people will carry a small pocket knife to clean fingers, and then they'll carry in my case, a utility knife, heavy bladed pry bar for doing just whatever, and then a good quality every day. You're cutting boxes, you're not getting dirty, messed up, prying with, tearing up, but you're just cutting stuff, and or particularly processing food, or a combination thereof. And here's another one that I got from the same guy. It is a laser pointer, not an actual laser pointer, but for a BB gun, a real gun, or whatever. That's basically what that was. 50 cents. Couldn't say no. I told my wife, I said, he's being mean to me. She said, what? I said, giving me good prices. She said, yep, right. So anyway, and then there's this little deal right here. I don't even know what this is, but it was in a bag. See, I was at the yard sale, and there was a bag with tons of stuff in it: screws, nuts, washers, everything you can think of. And they wanted 50 cents for it. Big old gallon Ziploc. And I looked at it and looked at it. I switched it around. I saw this in there, and I was like, man, it's worth it just to get that for 50 cents. Uh, but I put it down. And then the next thing I know, my wife checks out with it. And she says, I got that because it had the knife in it. So here's the knife blade, almost completely serrated all the way up to there. Kind of looks like a knockoff for my new favorite, a Spyderco. It says stainless China, Ruco. It's a Ruco. If that tells you anything about a knife, so that's cool, and it's a backlock. Neat, 50 cents. It's worth it. And this one, I may have showed it in a video, but this was a couple of weeks ago yard sale, and it's kind of a tight blade. It's a liner lock, and this is a Ozark Trail. Blade is loose. The thumb release is loose. I got to tighten all that up. So that's wobbly. The blade's wobbly. Everything's wobbly. But this was kind of neat for an Ozark Trail, I thought. So after finding it, I picked it up, and I'm glad I did. It's a typical Ozark Trail style knife, aluminum scales, really heavy pocket clip, and it looks like some kind of a coating, Could be an anodized. No, I don't think it's anodized. The high spots are worn on the coating, so it's some kind of probably you can tell the knife's been used. So it's a good quality coating, I think, because it's held up good. And so that was another find there, and I thought that was pretty neat finding that. And I forget what I paid for it, but it wasn't it wasn't more than $1, I don't think. And let's see, here is another one I got from that same guy, and this was 50 cents. It's an all aluminum outer shell. It's good heavy pocket clip. It's a open skeletal design. Um, you've got nice cutouts to get to the liner release on it. It is, of course, says made in China. I like the profile of the blade. The blade is a really cool profile on it, and that's probably the biggest reason why I got it. It says NRA. That is one of the things that's on there, and so it was a pretty neat knife. In the blade is slightly loose, but that's no big deal with these kind of knives. You can close that up. I really can't tell if it's got bearings in there, but I really don't think it does. But it does. It is pretty loose. But then again, the blade is loose, so I tighten these pivot screws up, and they'll probably tighten up from there. And I'll probably need to put some oil on it. So that's another knife, another 50-cent knife. So far we've got the Gerber was $2, and we got $2.50. Wait, no. So two, three, $4.50. I got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 items, and I'm not counting this stuff. And let's see, this is the old timer I got at that same yard sale that I got this one 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's got a wooden scale on one side, it says old timer, and aluminum on the other side. Pocket clip is again very heavy. I don't know why they put such heavy pocket clips on these cheap knives, but I'm hoping this is a real old timer. It says 16-5 on the blade and old timer on the other side. So it's a pretty neat knife. I think it's pretty cool to have. We'll do kind of a review, and these knives right here, probably I'll do a multi review, go into in depth and details. And once I've cleaned them all up and kind of got them refreshed and operating pretty good, and we'll just see what's what after that. Let's see. This is a Kershaw. It is a assisted opening Kershaw. Got this gift to me as a Christmas gift. It says 1402 BLK on the blade. Not sure what the cutout there is, but pretty heavy pocket clip. The blade profile reminds me of the Beef with this little kick up, which I guess is pretty standard to have something to get your finger on. Now, I wouldn't put my finger ahead of there, but back behind that little support, I think it's pretty cool. That's kind of nice. It is a knife, and I like that blade. It's kind of a Roman nosed type of blade. It's not a straight drop. It's like a bowed drop. It kind of drops off at an angle. That's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool knife. And then this one is unusual, and I got it at the same place that I picked this one up again. And this one looks like you can change it for nope. It's a single right hand only carry, and it's missing the pocket clip, which is fine. You can see the dual indent right here, so you should be able to open it by thumb or by flipping. Now you can see, now it is assisted. There is an assisted to it, and you can see it won't even open with it's assisted, and it won't even open. I really can't even get it to fully open there. So and I flip my thumb out there and it still don't open. But that little teardrop blade, I really like it. I hate the serrated part of the blade. I think that's so ridiculous. I guess there's a point to serrations, but I'd really love this knife if it weren't for the fact that it had the serrations on the blade. I like the look of the knife. It just looks like a little fat dagger, a little, probably a 3-inch blade on it. It says Task Force First Production Run. And the other side, 1045 surgical steel, handcrafted in China, designed in US by Tiger, whatever all that means. And it's got a little, it is a liner lock, and it's got a kind of a folded over style piece of metal to catch your thumb on, which, and it's got a little small indent to push your thumb through there to catch it. And it catches pretty easy, and it's nice. I'm looking forward to cleaning this knife up and getting it in pretty good shape. Um, and I don't know what I'll do with it because it's serrated. I won't carry it, but I got it. Um, and let's see what else we got here. Of course, we got a light. It's a tack light to go on something with a Picatinny rail or something of that nature. Hey, Alma, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Awesome. You have a good day? Oh, I'm good. Did some work on the truck. Had to run into work real quick and give somebody a drug screen for pre-employment, and come back, and I was working on some stuff on the website and doing some other things, and lost track of time. My wife came in with my granddaughter and said, I need you to drill a hole in this pan right here we're making for 4-H. And I'm like, okay, wow, where's the drill? I don't have one. And so we had to hunt a drill down, get a drill in place, put a hole in it real quick. And I'm like, oh, it's after 6 o'clock. I'm supposed to be live at 6 o'clock. So I was probably about 6:20 bringing it up. So you've been busy today? Wink, wink. Get all this stuff off my computer. So tonight's been slow. I just started going over several knives that I got in yard sales and different things like that right there. And I've seen a couple people pop on real quick and then jump back off, but they don't stick around long. I guess Sunday night is probably not another good night to try to do a live. I guess it's usually during the week. Uh, I don't know what Sundays are. I understand Fridays and Saturdays, why everybody's tied up and out there and whatever. But I figured somebody would be on here on a Sunday night. But you're the only one that stuck around. Thank you. I appreciate that. Makes an old man feel good. Yeah, I did. Actually, I kind of trimmed everything. Uh, like I said, it's just it gets to aggravating me after a while. Starts to itching a whole bunch, and it's just like I don't know. You can't wash it enough. You can't scrub it enough, and it just gets gruffy. And there's a point when a man starts growing a beard. It's real scratchy in the beginning, and then when it starts to come out, it's okay. And then after it gets grown out, sometimes it's just painful, especially I don't know. I can't really place it, but just sometimes it starts getting real sensitive and aggravating around my cheeks and all. And then that's when I say, well, I'm gonna have to trim it off. And so I did, and I went ahead and I bet you don't. I like you too. Thank you. I think I look kind of weird without the beard. I kind of got used to looking in the mirror uh, with the beard and everything on, and I don't know. I looked at myself in the other day with the beard and all, and my hair was kind of scruffy and kind of poking out in all those different directions, and uh, it reminded me of a sad old man. And I think that may have been the little deal in the back of my mind that made me want to start, clean up, shave, and trim everything back up and let it grow back out however it does naturally. That's usually the way I end up doing. I'll trim all my hair down to wherever. I think I put the quarter-inch little deal on the trimmers and trim everything that'll come off, and then trim it into a goatee, and then shave, and then it'll start growing, and I'll shave, and I'll keep it shaved like this right here and let my hair start growing. And then at some point or another, I'll get aggravated with shaving, and I'll let it start growing, and then eventually it comes out exactly like you seen me before. Thank you. The mountain man look. Cool. So how does the sound? Is the sound coming across pretty good? The only thing I've got to go by is, and actually, like as soon as you type something in, I respond to it. Is there a big lag between when you type something? Sounds good. Okay. That's the disadvantage. I don't get to see it happen real time to kind of know how it reacts, or how you see it on your end of it. Hey, look, at one time I was two fingers. That was it. That's how I typed. And then it got to where I could use all 10 fingers. And then now I'm down to maybe like three and a couple thumbs. And I'm also hitting backspace because I'm mistyping a whole lot more than I used to. When I was in my 20s, I took a program called Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. And it's an actual program, a program game. And when you start the program, it tells you, it tells you something on the screen, you have to type it out. And then it starts telling you how many words a minute you're typing and what your accuracy is and all that. And that's how I got really good at typing at some point, or one point or another. And then started hating computers because I worked with them all the time and did stuff with them all the time, and just lost it. I just don't type good anymore. Oh, really? Okay, cool. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think that they did say that. They said that, or when I got that program, they said it was a high school type program to teach people how to type. It's a great program for doing it. It'll definitely teach you how to type. It helped me. Well, it helped me type, but it didn't help me spell. And so my spelling is still no better than it ever was before. Yeah, my wife has been, see, the older grandkids, uh, which, hold on, let's see, let me figure it out. One, two, we have number seven on the way. So the older grandkids, they're doing 4-H. My wife always she don't force them, but she pushes them towards doing 4-H stuff. And a lot of people don't realize it, but with 4-H, when you submit projects and they win prizes, they actually win money. They actually pay the children a certain amount of money for every one that they win, and where they place, they win more money. So they're making some kind of a deal with a cookie sheet. That's one of them. You make a whole bunch, as many projects as you want. The more money you make. My oldest kids, when they were young and they were in 4-H, they would do, 100 plus dollars is what they would get out of it just from winning projects. And so she's taking a cookie sheet and putting some kind of deal on it, and then you drill a hole in it and mount it on the wall, and then you can stick magnets to it and I guess write on it and do stuff like that. And so that's one of the projects that they were working on. So I had to drill a mountain hole in the top of it so you could stick it on the wall or whatever you're going to do with it. hmm Uh, and I did a little bit of work on the truck. Uh, the There's a main intake that goes down to the turbo to draw air in. And the other night before last, whenever I was trying to, I forget even what it was now. Oh, I pulled a valve off of it and to check it to see if it was good and put it back on. And my arm bumped a fitting that's connected to that tube and cracked it. And that is a very expensive tube, and the deal is mounted to it. Yeah, yeah, it can. And so I had to JB weld it all back together. Even after a shower, I still had JB weld on my fingers. Wouldn't come off. So did you go anywhere today? Awesome. Was it a pretty good day at the beach? Cool. Was there a lot of other people at the beach? I assume in where you're at that there would always be people at the beach. Does it ever get too cold, or surely not too hot? But I would assume does it ever get too cold in that area to be at the beach? And we've actually had winters here where I'm at in Louisiana for a change. I mean, normally in Louisiana you have 1 week that you'll wear a sweater. The rest of the time you can go short sleeves. Oh yeah, well, where you're at, there's what 1,000,000 miles worth of beach. Go in one direction long enough, and you're going to hit a beach. Except for one, there's only one direction I guess you can go that knows beaches. Okay, now that wasn't there a hurricane down that way or close by there recently? Well, I guess yeah. If you're at the beach, you're going to get wet anyway. So if it's it's raining, what's the big deal? So is the hurricane gone, or is it still around, or is it just a storm or what now? Yeah. Oh, we got somebody else in here. There's a second person in here. Who we got logged in? That seems like the silent type. Hey, look, you're exactly right because I looked last week at my phone, and my phone has multiple weather apps on it, or has a detailed weather map that's like world weather. and there was like four hurricanes in out there brewing at one time. There was more than that, but there was like two. There was two over on your in your direction in the ocean, and two off of California in that direction. And then I think there was like two or three more around the world. One of them was like India or Indonesia or something like that. Uh, and then I think another one was around uh, Taiwan, Japan, something of that nature. But there was tons of hurricanes out there, or what do they call them, cyclones around that away. That was all going at one time. But you know what? I watched a video once, and it was talking about weather seeding. Um, and what they do is like silver iodine or something that they'll put in the atmosphere to seed the weather. And they were trying to control hurricanes and stuff like that. And they intensified hurricanes by weather seeding at one point, and then actually eventually after about 20 years of trying it, they knocked a hurricane out um, with the weather seeding. And yeah, waves and umbrellas. Um, and so I think that is part of it, that the weather seeding that they started doing. I think it was in they did part of it like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then I believe they've recently started doing it again. And I think that's a big part of why our weather is so goofed up and doing so many crazy things. Um, and you'll if you follow the weather and the different things, you'll see where the weather is doing like firsts, never before seen, never see it again in our lifetimes. And you'll keep hearing that when they start talking about all this stuff. Category whatever hurricanes that you've never seen before, tornadoes, tearing up entire towns and different things, which that's always happened, but it's constantly happening now. Whereas in the past, you would have, 2, 3, 5, 10 years between some kind of catastrophe. And then here in Louisiana, what we had, Katrina killed like what 5,000 people in New Orleans, followed by Rita the next month, then was hit again by Gustav like a month later. And actually, I know some people that actually came to work. They moved up here and came to work for us. And one of them was telling me that he was actually in jail in New Orleans when the hurricane hit. And the flooding started. And so they took all the inmates and they brought them to an overpass, a really tall overpass in New Orleans area, and stuck them all on top of the overpass and left. Because there wasn't no place for them to go. They had to stay there. They gave them shelter and everything, but it was flooded on both sides. Unless they can swim out from a hurricane, they weren't going to get away. And so I guess that's the reason why they did that, because they didn't have no other place to put them. And there was a lot of stories, a lot of horror stories about stuff from the New Orleans area whenever Katrina had come through and did that. I forget how much it was or how much water it was, but it was a huge ton of water that hit all at one time. And the problem was that the multiple pumps that would pump the water out of New Orleans, because New Orleans is a bowl. It's basically a bowl. That's all it is. There's no. It's a dish. They got levees all the way around it to keep the water out, and they have pumps inside the city that pump the excess water out into the oceans and the basins and to relieve it. And I think like half of those pumps were down when Katrina hit, and so they only had half capacity to get the water out of New Orleans. And then when the dam broke, then that flooded all that excess water in. And of course, that you couldn't pump it out fast enough, as fast as it was coming in, until they got that wall repaired. Then they could start pumping water out. And then I heard stories about how the remaining pumps, several got clogged by people that got pulled into the piping and such. And so those pumps, some of those pumps went down. And so it was a huge mess. It was a terrible mess. Of course, I mean, it's with, I think, what did I say? The second one was, it was Katrina, Rita. Rita was the one that come in the next month, and it kind of skirted New Orleans. And Rita is the one that, let's see, Rita went right beside my house. But the really, and I don't mean to say this in a positive way, but the cool one was Gustav, which in no way was cool. But Gustav, the eye of Gustav passed over my house where I was living at that time. And it was really cool because the way you see it in movies, how hurricanes hitting, everything's blowing up, limbs, trees, houses, cows, and everything else going in every direction and all kind of stuff like that. And that's what was happening. And then all of a sudden it slowly died down. The winds died down, everything come down smooth, cool, calm. It cooled off tremendously and it brightened up. Sun was shining, everything was great. You thought it was over with. And that was probably the span of about 30 minutes. And then after about 20, it started to pick back up again and start to get ugly again. And by the time 30 minutes was over, the eye had passed and we were back into the wall on the other side of the hurricane, and the winds were blowing in the opposite direction and just stuff going nuts and crazy and everything else. Literally the next morning, I had videos, which I don't know where any of the pictures are now, but I had a car in the front yard. A tree had fell across. Had my work truck that was parked in the front yard right beside that car, and the tree had, you couldn't even see the truck. I thought it had crushed the truck too. And when I got out there and climbed over the trunk, got around to the other side, I could see that everything missed the truck. And so, really, me and my neighbors, we spent, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours the next morning with chainsaws cutting all the trees out because there was 11 trees went down in the neighborhood. 7 of them was in my yard, and I had trees crossing behind my house, in front of my house, and beside my house, and nothing hit the shop in the yard, the pool house, the house. It destroyed one car, and that's basically what the hurricane did to my yard. And then there was 4 more trees. There was 2 up the road, up the hill this way, and then 2 more up the hill this way that had crossed the actual road itself. And so probably about 12 houses were blocked in. You couldn't get out because these are huge, massive trees. And so we got over there and managed to cut one tree out, cut the trunk up, but it was too big to be able to move. And so another neighbor had a tractor, and he come out with the tractor and he started pushing them over to the shoulders of the road and down in the ditches. And me and another guy was taking and cutting the trees up, and he would push them out of the way. And finally we got it opened up enough to where all of us could get out and they could get in and fix everything. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we both lucky I'm here tonight because there's all kind of stuff done happened to me in my lifetime. I've come that close to kicking the bucket. I don't know how many times. Uh, Guns, knives, explosions, car wrecks, uh, you name it. I've been shot at probably 4 different times. It's pretty ugly. Yeah. I'm a big teddy bear, all right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There was, let's see, one night I was a security guard at a tie plant, and I'd made rounds and I went into the break room, and then I heard shots outside. I jumped up, kicked the door up, and run outside. And we actually carried guns as security guards. Uh, yeah, grizzly. And I went around the building and went around by the one of the big machines, and all of a sudden bullets started ricocheting off the ties that were stacked beside me as I walked around there. And then there was another time, all of us in the middle of the day, we're all out in this big hole. It was like a pond, and we were working on some piping and stuff. There were some ties that were stacked up in piles around the outside of that pond, and somebody started shooting out across the yard, and bullets were ricocheting all and bouncing off. We could hear them zipping and zinging all over our head. Kind of weird there in the middle of the day, and just I guess they were sighting in a gun. I don't know what they were doing, but it was rocky. Uh, yeah, security guard sounds cool until you're out there at 12 o'clock at night and gunshots bouncing across the yard. No, not always. In my case, it was back in the '90s, and we did carry a gun. Yeah. Well, you can carry cuffs, but if a security guard puts cuffs on somebody, it's called kidnapping. Only a police officer can put cuffs on somebody because he's licensed and bonded and secured to be able to do that. Individual, he better have their permission. Otherwise, it's called kidnapping. Hold on. The handcuffs? I didn't have any. I had a gun. I didn't have any handcuffs. Well, actually, they gave us a gun. Okay, I have to explain this gun. It was a Saturday night special, a 38, and every security guard had access to be able to carry it at night, so that they had it there in this area, which was a bad part of town. And I believe the bullets were probably 30 years old, maybe 40. The gun was so rickety. I mean, with you could move the cylinder on it and shake it, and it rattled and all kind of stuff like that. So I kind of left it in the closet, and I carried my own gun. I knew it would shoot whenever I pulled the trigger, so that's the gun that I would carry. And then there was another security guard on a different shift, and he carried like a 357. He didn't want to carry that gun. There was only one security guard that would carry that gun, and believe it or not, he shot a hog with it one night. And so it did shoot. Surprised that it shot, but it did shoot. Oh, my phone